So the iPhone 8 is one of the more interesting iPhones as of right now, and to be honest, in the way it holds up in the middle part of 2023, it is very, very interesting. So the very first thing I want to state, I don't think this iPhone is necessarily the first one I would recommend buying, but I still think it's a very, very decent iPhone that you should probably buy, in my opinion, if you want an iPhone to last you maybe like 6 or 7 months, but beyond that, I would just recommend avoiding it and buying something like an iPhone XR or iPhone 11. And the main reason for that is because of software. Now with the iPhone 8, it had a 4.7-inch IPS panel on the front, and it really wasn't that bad of a panel. You know, I think it wasn't an OLED panel, but it was decent and it kind of got the job done for the most part. So there really wasn't like a crazy amount of things to complain about with this type of panel at that moment. Now you were getting Touch ID 2 on the front, which is good. You're getting a lightning port, you're getting glass on the back, and overall, like, it's a pretty predictable phone. You know, it's giving you exactly what you'd expect. And I definitely do think that in and of itself is a decent thing. This was one of the first iPhones to bring back the glass back. So the iPhone 4S kind of had it, and then it went away, and this one brought it back. Had a single camera setup on the back with wireless charging, IP certification, and overall a pretty decent build iPhone for that time. Now the iPhone SE 3 still is using the same exact design for the most part, so not too much change there, but still kind of a funny thing. Now you were also getting, for the most part, a decent camera. It was a single wide-angle camera lens on the back, and you were getting a 7-megapixel front-facing camera, and for the most part, it was a decent camera. You know, it was a 4K 60 lens on the back, 1080p at 30 on the front, and like I mentioned, although this wouldn't be the first camera I would recommend people to buy at that time, it was okay for the most part, and I'm sure some people were happy with it, but definitely in this day and age, it is for sure showing its age, and that can be a problem for some people. So if I were you, I would also just recommend kind of taking a look at this specific device and probably avoiding it because of the camera. So just kind of something to keep in mind in the back of your head. Now on top of that, the software is probably the biggest thing that is probably the biggest turnoff here. This phone, like I mentioned, I mean, it's pretty much done getting software support. That's a very, very new revelation. Before, it was getting so many versions of software. Now it's kind of stuck in this weird limbo phase where it may not be getting, I mean, it's not getting iOS 17. It's probably still going to be getting iOS 16 updates, but it's not going to be lasting much longer than that. And that can be kind of a big disadvantage for some people out there. So personally for me, that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind as well. Now, in terms of performance, this thing is getting the Apple A11 Bionic chip inside with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now that chipset technically is already outdated because it's not getting software support anymore, but also that amount of RAM is a kind of a low amount of RAM to have on a device now. I played lots of heavy intensive games on this thing with like varying graphic profiles, and the heavier graphic profiles definitely are showing its age more than the lower ones. So I definitely do think that if you're playing a game or if you're doing anything even remotely heavy intensive on the iPhone 8, you're definitely going to be getting kind of bottlenecked and it's definitely going to be showing its age there. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I think battery life has already been pretty bad for this type of device for the last couple of iOS versions, but it's not getting any better with iOS. It's gotten better with iOS 16 throughout the iOS 16 updates, but it's an older phone and it's going to have more of a degraded battery. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is, I don't really think the iPhone 8 is worth buying anymore. I think most people probably know that by now, and you are probably much better off buying something like an iPhone 11 or an iPhone XR, one of those types of devices that are still supported with software, rather than probably the older one like this one. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.